How's it going? It's Mike here with Curated Horology, and well, I got a special video today. So, as I mentioned, past two videos, in the attempt to post more watch content here on YouTube, I'm going to be sitting down and doing, probably a couple of videos in batches, and so. Same attire as last video, and got the little guy over here because, I frankly recorded those couple videos just within the last half hour. So, today's a special video, as the title implies, watches for my son. So, people ask, "Oh, Mike, what if your son doesn't like watches?" Well, you know what? Then he doesn't like watches, and I'll figure it out. I'll sell them. I'll keep them for myself. Whatever the case is, I'm not gonna sweat about that. But my dad was a car guy, and I'm a car guy. My father-in-law really liked skiing. My wife and brother-in-law really like skiing. So I figure, if I expose him to watches, then, maybe he'll like them too. If he doesn't, that's okay too. But, I'm not going to force anything. But I think, and I don't know, I've noticed in my time that there's different types of collectors out there for anything, whether you're talking about, Magic the Gathering cards, or other trading card platforms, or watches, or cars, or motorcycles, or fill in the blank. Just about anything you could collect. There's the people who are constantly looking for the next one, right? Actually, I've met Wayne Carini a number of times. Anyone who's involved or who enjoys classic cars, or if you've ever seen the show, the TV show Chasing Classic Cars, you know who Wayne Carini is. And the first time I met him, I asked, Wayne, what's your favorite car? And he said, the next one, right? So some people just love the chase. They love the hunt. They love, finding the next car, the next watch, the next fill in the blank, whatever you're collecting. There's some people who just like to have it. These are the people you read. I'm going on about cars a lot because this is, I guess, maybe I'm too new to watch collecting. I've only been doing it a couple of years now, so maybe the examples come up easier for me with cars. But I always used to read in the car magazines about, someone's got 50 classic cars on their property, and they've been sitting so long, they're basically cemented into the dirt, and there's trees growing through the engine bay and everything, and you go up to them and say, hey, can I buy XYZ? And then no, they just need to have it. They don't enjoy it. They don't drive it. They don't sit in it. They don't, for watches, they don't wear it. Maybe they don't even look at it. But just knowing that they have it is enough for them. And I know people like this. I know collectors who are like this about records. Don't even have a record player in the house to play them, but they like to have them, because it's a rare record. So just having it, they don't need to enjoy it, they don't need to listen to it, they don't even need to look at it. It's in a box, in a storage unit, but just knowing they have it is okay. And there's people who like to flaunt it, right? They might have a cool car, a cool watch, and they need to let everybody know that they have, that they have a Rolex or that they have a Ferrari. Everybody's got to know it. you see them at a car show and they've got to talk about, oh, this is how much my wheels were, this is how much this was. They have it because they like to flaunt it, they like to show off, they like to, as the kids say today, flex. Okay. And then there's people like me, and there's probably more variations of collectors out there. If you want to add to this list, please feel free to do so in the comments. But what I like to get out of the hobbies that I'm in, whether it's watches or cars or trading cards or whatever it is, are the people that I meet through these hobbies. Yes, I love the watches that I've acquired and that I collect, and I'll continue collecting watches. Yes, I love paintball guns and have amassed a nice collection of them. Yes, I love cars. I love driving my cars. I love working on my cars. Mostly love driving them. I love going to Cars and Coffees. But most importantly, the key for any of my hobbies is the people that I've met and the friends that I've been able to make through these hobbies. So, anyhow, went off on a little bit of a tangent there. I met some great people through, the different car clubs and car shows that I go to. And I've met some great friends so far in my watch journey, and I hope to, continue meeting and becoming friends with more of you. So, anyhow, all that to say, oh, Mike, what if your son doesn't like cars? What if your son doesn't like watches? I'm not here to force anything upon anybody, but if I expose him to these different hobbies, and more importantly, what I get out of them, which is, more relationships, better relationships, and, there's a full life of, with amazing people in it, then, maybe he'll get into the hobby as well. So anyhow, without further ado, my son has 3 watches to date, and yes, he's right here, but I don't know if he can comprehend yet, so hope I'm not spoiling anything for him. So we'll go with I guess nothing's permanent, and life is what happens when you're busy making plans. But I'm anticipating this one here being his first watch, and this is a vintage Benris Day-Date. This is one of a number of watches that my dad has given me throughout the, when I really started showing interest in watches. It works. I'm sure it needs a service, so at some point I will be servicing it and cleaning it. But it'll be from my son's grandfather, from my dad, and I always thought it was a pretty sharp looking watch. So yeah, and it's also it's not too big of a size that, see how the little guy grows. Maybe he could start wearing this in a couple years. So cool watch, looks great, works great, and it's not, I would say it's more, the value is more sentimental than monetary. And it's one of those things, if he, damages it or scratches it doing what, an 8 or 10-year-old kid, or however old he is when I end up giving it to him, then, it is what it is. I could repair it. It needs a crystal right now. So it'll get a service, it'll get a crystal, it'll get cleaned up before he gets it. Now, I am not going to say this is his second watch, because who knows? If he's really showing an interest in the hobby, I give him Grandpa's watch, or one of Grandpa's watches, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and he starts showing interest. I see in some of the groups and Watch Crunch and some of the forums that I'm on that, some guys, their son's 12, 13, 14 years old, or daughter, and they start, showing interest, sitting down and watching YouTube videos with him, going to, watch meetups and so forth. Then, who knows, maybe he'll get a couple more watches along the way. But this is, if you saw my last video with the unboxing. Oh, and speaking of which, do a quick wrist check post here. So this is the Hamilton Khaki Field for the 250th anniversary of the United States. Shared this in my last video. Now I have it on the leather strap instead of the canvas. So really enjoying that one. And then this is the other watch that I shared in my last video. This is the Tudor Black Bay 54 that I will be wearing every day to work, and have been wearing every day to work. And I'll be giving that to my son for his 18th birthday. So I'm sure it'll be well loved and be full of scratches and stories, and before I give it to him, it'll get a cleaning and a service, no polish or anything like that. But when he eventually gets that watch, I want him to, know, hey, that was Dad's watch that I saw him wear every day growing up. And then the third watch I got for him, and it was really difficult not to get it for myself, but there's still time. I'm just kidding. This is a watch that I fell absolutely head over heels in love with. My local watchmaker had it up for sale, and I had to scoop it up, and I figured, more for the, he'll have a dive watch, he'll have, maybe a couple other watches by the time he's a young adult. But this one, I think, will be maybe not the heavy hitter, but maybe one of his heavy hitters in his collection. And this is a vintage 1960s Seamaster DeVille with a 14 karat gold case, solid, not gold plated. All of my gold watches are plated, so my son has a solid gold watch before I do. And it has my iPhone really doesn't do this watch justice, but it is a gorgeous textured linen dial. So, freshly cleaned and serviced. No, not polished. You can see it's got some very light scratching. So, he'll have, maybe an everyday, watch to tool around in. He'll have a dive watch, and he'll have a absolutely gorgeous vintage dress watch. So, I put this one on a analog shift strap, and I don't know if I'll keep it on this, at the point at which I give it to my son, but I did wear this watch the day I picked it up, and I wore it to my wife's baby shower. So I put it on a light blue strap, which I think it looks rather nice on, and I do need to get a gold Omega buckle for it, but I have time before I give it to him. So I'm thinking if I give him the Tudor at 18, then I don't know if college will even be a thing anymore by the time he gets there. I read an article the other day that I think he's generation beta or something, and by the time his generation, graduates high school, college may not even be a thing anymore. But whatever college or college equivalent is, when he begins, that next chapter of his life, he'll get a nice gold Omega. So, gold vintage Omega, Tudor Black Bay 54, and, in his younger years, Grandpa's Benris, vintage Benris. So, that's that. That's my son's 3-watch collection as it currently stands. And little guy's not even 2 weeks old, so maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Did you do something similar? Did you buy a watch when your child was born? Have you bought them any watches since? Are your kids into watches? How'd you get them into watches? Just any part of the subject, let me know. And as always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. But most importantly, comment. Let me know, do you like this type of content? Like I said, no special editing or cameras or microphones. I'm not skilled with all that stuff. I just want to have a genuine conversation and an authentic, YouTube channel here of watch content and rambling for fellow like-minded enthusiasts. So, yeah, post in the comments. What'd you like? What do you not like? What kind of content would you like to see, or discussion would you like to have? And, watches and kids, any part of that topic. So, all right, thanks for watching, and I've got to get going.